Yo guys, what's going on? I'm Keegan. If you enjoyed this review, be sure to hit that subscribe button and put your opinions down there in the comment section. Lil Tecca. We love you, Tecca. Lil Tecca is a New York rapper, singer, and songwriter who, despite only recently seeming to come out of the scene, he's been fairly busy in the underground, really being recognized since early 2017, which is great for someone who is only 17. This mixtape here is Tecca's first project overall, incorporating some of his older songs into it as well, which kind of makes it feel more like a compilation than a mixtape, but I'm not one to judge. Just a fair warning, this mixtape does have 17 songs on it, and I will be looking at all of them, so I'm sure this is going to be a fairly long review, so I'll try to keep my analysis on each song a little bit shorter. Also, this mixtape has 7 singles, which is unheard of for me. The most I've seen was 5, so I guess I'm going to start the review talking about those. The first single, surprisingly, was not Ransom. It was actually Count Me Out, released a full 8 months before Ransom. Anyway, the song opens up with this gorgeous orchestral piano and very minimalist percussion. One of my favorite things about Lil Tecca is his melodies and his comfort on the instrumental. He sounds like almost a more melodic version of Roddy Ricch. The song, in all honesty, is not that interesting. Tecca slathered an auto-tune as usual, but his flow is very engaging. And I love when the beat drops and he says, "La-di-da-di-da, you mad or nah?" It's just a fun moment on this song. So, it's a fine song, but I probably won't keep it around. Now we finally get to the big hit. The second single, Ransom, which, in all honesty, only got better for me with repeated listens. The shimmering synths give the song a very playful, happy feeling to it. And Tecca's voice is nice and actually pretty clear. He almost sounds like if Nav actually had emotion. Not too varied when it comes to flow, but it makes up for that with how much of an earworm this song is. Tecca's interview with Genius about this song says his lyrics are not true to real life. Of course, he is just a kid, younger than me even. He doesn't have guns, cars, or women. It's all just faux, so just let that sink in when you're listening to this mixtape. The third single, Molly Girl, is not interesting. I'm getting a lot of Juice WRLD vibes from this song, which isn't surprising considering Tecca's listed Juice WRLD as an influence, along with being the only feature on this mixtape. I don't really care for his flow on this one, especially his slower flow where it just sounds completely off and isolated from the instrumental, which does happen more than once on this mixtape. Its memorable moments are just as long as the song itself, very short and overshadowed by better songs. Just skip this one. The fourth single, Love Me, is the opposite of Molly Girl. It's very captivating in the same way Ransom was. The instrumental is fun and bubbly, it's just another enjoyable moment here. Lyrically, it's kind of a flex love song almost, where Tecca mentions he's got this drip, and he knows that this girl likes it. The flow is engaging, Tecca's voice has this swagger to it, and the melodies are wonderful. This is probably one of the best ones on this mixtape. The fifth single, Bossa Nova, has these bright synths on the instrumental, but that's about all that makes this song fun. Tecca's offbeat again at some parts of the song, and the rest of his flows are just generic, nothing interesting, although his melodies are pretty nice. Lyrically, the song is pretty vapid. Counting money, grinding, positive is gonna be great. Only a few lines here that stick out, like, you know you poppin' if they hate you. Which is a nice way to look at success, actually. Not everyone can love you and what you do, so that was kinda nice. But in all honesty, I probably won't keep this one around. The sixth single, Did It Again, was the other big hit from this mixtape, and I don't mind this one either. Although Tecca's voice does get a bit more irritating on this one, where his rhyme scheme just starts to grate on my ears a little bit. But I do like Tecca's different flows regardless. Also, the song just feels extremely short. Shorter than the other songs despite it being the same length. The song's pretty good, I think I'll keep this one around. And the seventh and final single, the Ransom remix with Juice WRLD, is fine, if not extremely unnecessary. Juice WRLD mumbles his way through his verse and doesn't really add that much, although he does blend well with this instrumental. In the end, I would not take this remix over the original. Now we finally get to the rest of the songs, which starts with Shots, which is an amazing song. It almost kind of feels like a spiritual successor to Ransom in a way. It's got a similar, fun, bouncy instrumental, lyrically untrue, probably, even structured the exact same way and produced by these same two people. And to me, it works. It's easily one of the most fun songs on this entire mixtape. I will definitely be keeping this one around. This is one of my favorites. Side Note is a pretty boring song for me, mainly due to the production, which just feels way too dense compared to Tecca's lighter auto-tune voice. Tecca goes off beat again, and his flow is extremely awkward on this beat. Although the line, "You want beef, go to Five Guys," is literally copied from Ski Mask's song Foster Failure. It just is. But it's still a nice line regardless. This song is just bragging, bitches, money, drugs, the usual for rap. It's very middle of the road, and I think I'll pass on this one. Out of Luck is just a clusterfuck of a song. Tecca's flow is all over the place, with way too much, like he's trying to fit every single syllable possible into one bar at one part, and then the next part he's just way off of the beat. The instrumental is extremely boring and generic, just a skittering trap drum. It's a success brag rap song at the end, which I don't mind, but its execution is just way too frantic to enjoy properly. It's a pass for me. Left Right is a decent song. It's pretty catchy. Tecca's got an engaging, varied flow, and the beat is very perky. The song also feels like a lot, but it also does sound like one of the more complete songs in this mixtape. The chorus gets repeated 4 times over 2 minutes 35 seconds, which it does get annoying after a few listens. But the chorus is still a nice earworm regardless. It's fun. This one's another one I wouldn't mind keeping around. We've really got a trend going here. One good song, one bad song. Well, let's stop that with Amigo. This one's a banger. First off, the elephant in the room. I love the flute that pops up for certain parts of the song. It doesn't stay for the whole song, which I think is a positive actually. It just comes in here and there without getting stale, giving a special vibe every time it comes around. Tecca's flow is pretty nice. He rides the beat pretty effortlessly. Lyrically, this song is all over the place, even mentioning a Ford. Wow, I wasn't expecting that. Lyrically, this song is all over the place, even mentioning a Ford. Wow, I wasn't expecting that. Anyway, this one's also pretty good. Phenom is a very bizarre song, but in a good way. First off, I think this flow on the hook is probably the best flow on this entire mixtape for me. His voice is slightly deeper, but still melodic, which just sounds fantastic to me. The instrumental is very chunky, but with his delivery, it actually kind of works. Lyrically, the song is kind of motivational, being about how he's been solo for so long, he can't go on. But then he says it's my time, people are complimenting him. It's pretty nice. This one's also one to keep. Weatherman, however, is extremely generic. While I do enjoy the nice calming instrumental, Tecca's delivery is just off, which really bothers me if you couldn't already tell. Along with a lot of similes in the lyrics. It's probably the closest the mixtape gets to filler. It just does not shine through in any regard over the other songs here. It just bores me, so no thanks. DUI is a very interesting song because it almost sounds R&B influenced, even down to the more smooth instrumental. And Tecca's melodic delivery, it's definitely a standout on this mixtape. Lyrically, it's kind of about his sudden rise to popularity, but also adjusting to that lifestyle. It's a very unique song in the context of this mixtape, and I really enjoy it. The score opens up with this extremely trippy feeling of Tecca's overlaying vocals, which does not really work. It just feels like an added gimmick to try to make this song more interesting. Which it really isn't. It actually kind of feels like a snooze fest. Tecca does sound bored on this song, giving the song an extremely sleepy vibe, and it's over in the blink of an eye. Not a memorable moment, and even still not a good one. And finally, Senorita, which is fairly similar to Out of Luck, but a little bit more tolerable. For one, his flow is a bit more cohesive this time, but it's also a bit more sporadic. Like every single 4 bars is a flow change, which is just too much. The instrumental is the same traditional 808s and skittering drum. This one's also kind of filler, I don't really care for it. Overall, while there are a lot of boring songs on here, not much of it was particularly bad, just kind of forgettable. I think Tecca has a lot of room for growth, and definitely a lot of potential, and I hope this mixtape is a stepping stone for something great in the future. But in all honesty, I only think half of this mixtape should genuinely be remembered. I'm feeling about a 6 out of 10 on this mixtape. Well guys, hope you enjoyed that review. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.